Let's talk a little bit about fear. So, if structure frames the content of our thinking and our experiences and thinking can only be framed by the structure of that thinking. So, until the structure is modified, our experiences can only be related to from within the context of that particular structure. So what does that mean? So think of structure as a backdrop, and then content is the specific details or factors or variables of the experience. So much like we're sitting outside right now on this beautiful day having a conversation. There's only a few appropriate experiences that we can have in this particular structure, this setup. So until our structure or framework is modified, that is the only time, or that is when the content of the experience can either be perceived differently or experienced differently. So why is that relevant? What am I talking about? Structure versus content. So in our lives and in our relationships, until we create space for new understanding, until we allow for a different context, we are stuck, or we are limited by whatever structure and framework we have either consciously or unconsciously created for ourselves. So let's tie this into fear. So obviously fear is a negative affect. It is an emotional affect that has a negative connotation to it. And what happens when we have negative affects is that they limit and literally narrow cognitive abilities. So we lose our ability to think creatively. We lose our ability to experience joy and happiness and those positive affects when we are stuck in the context and the structure of a negative affect like fear. So that is how it applies. So when we shift our perception just the minor amount towards a positive affect, we open up our consciousness for other experiences and to modify that circumstance so it can turn into something more positive. And that shift in perception becomes the structural change so that we have a change in our thinking and in our experience.
People aren't aware of how much fear they're living in. Can you address that issue? You know, there's the fear of maybe a marriage that isn't going well, the fear of losing a job, the fear of paying your bills. But we're not aware of how insidious these fears are because we sublimate them on some level.
Sure. So again, these negative affects, let me say it again, this is very important. We need to understand that we become paralyzed by the fear because it diminishes our capability, our cognitive capability to reason, to problem solve, to experience things deeply. And we do walk around with a lot of fear and anxiety because of getting stuck in these patterns, because we are living from a specific context. So again, the context is limited or framed by the structure. So when we have a deeper understanding of how we ruminate on negative affects, then we can say to ourselves, okay, hold on a moment. I am allowing these negative emotions to rule my decision making, to rule my relationships, to control my experiences. Let me just minimally shift into a bit of a more aspirational, positive, hopeful affect, meaning emotion. So more joy, more happiness, and just creating a little bit more space allows us the luxury of being more creative, being more calm. We will have a somatic experience in the body where the cortisol will diminish or reduce, and then we will have those serotonins and those dopamine levels up. So all of this stuff is connected. So it's important for us to have conscious awareness if we are in a negative relationship, if we are in an experience that is causing these negative emotions, that we can make a choice. And this is where happiness comes in. This is where positive psychology has taught us a lot of things about being optimistic and the benefits of positive emotions and optimism. If you enjoy what we're doing, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you great video content. Do you have the courage to show up for your own life? To realize your vision and unlock your potential, contact GLOM Initiatives at 757-550-4987 or glominitiatives.com.